Hello, folks. This is Nanate. Today, I'm here to debunk a myth that concerns Okomfo and Krobo women, the said case. So, there are 5 reasons why this claim is a complete lie. As I said earlier on, there's this perception or claim that is absolutely false, non-existent, and a mere story aimed at denigrating the heart and reputation of Krobo women. So, I'll give you reason number 1. I'm looking at the historical timeline. That's what reason number 1 has to deal with. Okomfo was born in the 1600s at Okugwa, a town in the Nifa division of the Capital State. By that time, that which is in the 1600s, that he was born, the Krobo ancestors were then settling on the Krobo Mountain, Kloyo. In those days, due to rampant warfare and slave raiding activities, the Krobos, thus including the Krobo women, were not allowed to travel far from the mountain. Even when they began to cultivate the land in and around or even beyond the Okwe River and made some extensions, they always retired to the mountain at nightfall. So there was no contact between the Krobo women and the Krapin people that will result in the said Okomfo cursing Krobo women. So this is the historical timeline I'm putting in for the first reason. The second reason is the tense relationships that was between them. So during the time of Okomfo, relationship between the Krobos and their neighbors, especially the Ekwapims, were very tense. And there were constant violence and plundering on both sides. The Krobos and the Ekwapims by then saw each other as enemies. So in those days, apart from wars, there was no contact in any form between these two states. That will result in Okomfo cursing Krobo women. So this is the tense relationship that was between them, which is the second reason that proved that this was a lie. The third reason is the geographical separation of these two states or these two people. During the time of Okomfo, the only place you can find Krobos in this geographical area called Ghana, known today as Ghana, let me put it so, was only on the mountain. That's the Kloyo, on the Krobo mountain. It is along the Ashama Akosombo stretch. Yeah, so it is there. So apart from that mountain, you couldn't find any Krobo anywhere. So if the Krobos were not allowed to travel away from the mountain, one, due to the wars and the slave raiding activities, how will Okomfo be baffled? And some Krobo woman will go and stare at his supposed nakedness. That will result in Okomfo cursing them. What is the link that people want us to believe in? There's no link in this. Reason number 4, the migration of Anoche. Now look at this. By the latter part of the 17th century, the site of Okomfo migrated permanently to Asanteman. That was the latter part of it. By then, the Krobos were still settling on the Krobo mountain. Okomfo's migration to Asanteman had further widened the distance between the Krobos, especially the Krobo women, and him. So the Okomfo cursing Krobo woman story is only a figment of someone's imagination, and it might be considered as a story coined to just denigrate the image of Krobo women. That's what they did. So let's move on to the last reason, which is the timeline mismatch. Look at it carefully. The timeline mismatch. The Krobos were forced to descend the mountain in the year 1892, right? That's some 133 years. Now, Okomfo died in the early part of the 1700s. This means that he died several decades before our ancestors or the Krobo ancestors came to settle in their current location known as Dom, which comprises of Odumase, Somanya, Akuse, Bong, and its environs. So there was no contact or whatsoever between Okomfo and the Krobo people. Therefore, no possible meeting was between the two states. That's their women and Okomfo in the first place. So the case story is false. One, it's misleading and the comic relief at its best. It is a deliberate fabrication aimed at shaming Krobo women. So let it be buried once and for all. This goes to all Krobo women and Dangme citizenry. See you in the next video.